Well, it's possible that this is working. It's been like a month since I've been here, so I don't know. Adam, hello, sir. Javier, hello. Both of you, I've enjoyed your company in the last couple weeks. Turtle Castle, hello, sir. All right, so some people are showing up. Tonight's live chat brought to you by Iron Pig Armament. They make some pretty cool fucking rifles. I got to handle some of them a couple weeks ago in Florida, and the fellow behind all the wrench turning is here in the chat tonight. So if you have some Iron Pig Armament questions about what he can and will do for a AR, post them up, and he is free to answer them. Crystal, hello, dear. Stephen, hello. RJ, hello. Good to see you too. Uncle Guns, hello, sir. It has been so long since I've been on one of these. All my Wednesdays have been fucking booked. There was last week was travel. The week before was travel. In between Florida, Tennessee, and Pennsylvania. The week before, I was at class. So it's been some time. Glad to be back. And there won't be one. Probably next week. Probably not on Wednesday. I'll be somewhere in between Tennessee and Texas, likely. And the week after, but somewhere between Texas and Wisconsin, I believe, somewhere in there. So it's going to be a couple weeks till we're back. Adam, I don't know. It's like a heather gray. I didn't know it was available in any color but the gray. I ordered this shirt way back when they flooded. So that was some time ago. And like everyone was like, holy shit, look at all the damage and et cetera, et cetera. And, you know, what can we do to help? And somebody said, well, all the shirts are dry. You can order as many of those as you want. So I bought the shirt then. I'd like to say, well, I know a guy or two. I mean, I do know a guy or two, but not as well as you do. So I can't really use that. I can't play the I'm someone important card. All right. So what do we got going on? All kinds of shit. Not really. But we do have some updates on how things went on the travel trip and some things coming up that are new and exciting, et cetera, et cetera. And some other stuff, I guess. Did I put a link for that? I did. All right, so I can copy and paste it. Let's see what all is going on. I guess we can hit the ARs for the previous travel trips. I took a 3-day CQB class with Orion Training Group, and it was awesome. I'm like, just no shit. OTG is out of Louisiana, which is like where they're kind of headquartered. A couple of the guys from there, and then a couple from one of the Carolinas. I don't remember which one. But if you have a chance to take an OTG class, you should. Shinde, thank you, sir. I always look great. Don't know if I lost any extra chin, no. So I have a AAR semi written up on that because I took a laptop with me on my travels and got to do a little, but it's not polished, and I'll probably finish it up tomorrow and post it on the blog and in the links and all that bullshit. Came home from that and attended Zach Bush's a definitive shotgun class. Well, Definitive Training Solutions definitive shotgun class here at my home range in Sugarloaf. It was outstanding as usual. Love having Zach around. I actually got to see him twice in the last couple of weeks, or this last month. Saw him 2 different states and 2 different occasions. And then we had a live fire study group, first one of those in a while that we did shooty stuff. I thought that went pretty well. We got some folks introduced to a couple new things. We actually did a little bit of threshold assessment and threshold crossing, like CQB style with live fire, where we had a threshold set up just on the range. And that seemed to be popular. Hopefully, some of them folks maybe want to come to Fish, happen in Paducah, Texas, Fish 1 and 2 in December, like the first weekend in December. And then the following weekend, there's a Fish workshop here in Scranton. So there are things if you're interested in that kind of stuff. Adam, they do have a CQB class coming up in Lima. I actually talked to Jared, the owner of OTG, about the Lima facility, gave him some heads up about the lighting and whatnot so they could better prepare for it than I was. So I assume that if you head up there for that, you will enjoy it. And they are coming back to PA, I want to say in January, for the same class that they ran here last month. And they got some other things come up. They're going to be at the Ben Franklin range like a dozen times next year. So with live fire, patrolling, a bunch of shoot house stuff. So it should be pretty cool. Colt Manny, hello, sir. RJ thinks the Definitive Shotgun was great, and so was the study group. After the study group, I came home, packed my truck, and left for Florida. Got to spend an evening hanging out with the Dave Biggers experience on my way down. Then I went and hung out with John Ammons, Alpha Charlie Concepts UW gear. Always a joy to see him, and it's been probably 2 years since I last saw him. I read comments. Sorry. Yes, Adam. Absolutely, fucking take it. You'll just appreciate it. Trust me. And take your Blackbeard with you. Oh wait, do you have a Blackbeard? You don't have a Blackbeard. It'd be useful if you had one. I could sell you one on the cheap. So anyhow, I hung out with John. That was a good time. He sewed up a little project for me, and you all got a little hint of it on the social medias. I have some lasering to do on it now that I'm home. But the laptop that I connect to the laser down in my office is currently sitting right here in the studio. So I'll have to wait till this is over. Zach Bush, hello, sir. Just talking about you. And so then I picked up Mike, my what did Javier call him? Sidekick, understudy? I don't remember, but it was glorious. And then we went down to Leesburg. Finally got to meet Andrew from Combat Art Training, and who was a student in class. Along with him was Jerry Nuss. So I had 2 professional firearms instructors in class. And for those of you in the instructing world, when you have another instructor in your class as a student, it has a little different vibe to it. You connect on a different level. You pass on some information that isn't always passed on to students, not because they don't deserve it or any of that, just about like curriculum type things and why things are in a certain order and whatnot. Sonny, hello, sir. Good to see you as well. So we ran 2 days of pistol down there in Leesburg. Aries training facility was really good. Everything I could ask for. None of the superfluous dumb shit that ranges sometimes have. And you're like, I don't need any of that bullshit. Why do I pay for it? Scheduling classes is super easy. I was going to not do Florida in 2024 just because I wanted to spend more time like here in Pennsylvania. But it was such a good experience that we went ahead and scheduled a class in February in Florida. So see if I can't copy this and paste it for you. Sonny, you will dig it there. Everything there is good to go. The owner, he came out to dinner with us a couple nights. Trey, solid dude. I enjoyed his company, and he's not into FUDs at all, so that's a bonus. So yeah, we're gonna go back February 16th, 17th, and 18th. Um, do dynamic carbine on Friday and Saturday, and day 3 carbine on Sunday. Sundays they can only shoot from 10 to 3, so we're not going to do a lunch. We're going to start at like 9 and be done shooting at 3. So it'll be a eat in between relays kind of thing. But Turtle, awesome. Glad to see that uh, that you'll be there, because it was great having you in class. I hadn't seen Turtle in fucking forever. Steven, exactly. That's why we picked February, because it sucks to be here in February. Like I could run 4 classes, outdoor classes here in Pennsylvania in February, but 3 people total amongst the 4 classes would sign up. So it makes it not the most financially viable options. So why not go south? So that will be enjoyable. I will say, speaking of Jerry Nuss and Andrew Burke, they were great students, just great students, taking notes, and great AARs. I love to see instructors taking training from other instructors. Um, Jerry shot awesome. In fact, somebody said like he won one of the drills, like our long distance pistol drill, and somebody was like, Jerry's the best pistol shooter I've ever seen. And I was like, because he made a hit at like 82 yards, with his red dotted M&P. I mean, I like to point out I made one at the same distance with a iron sighted macro, but I mean, not trying to toot my own horn, Jerry, or anything. I'm just teasing. And Adam, yes, no gas tank was harmed. So everything there in Florida was good. Went back up to John's for a day or two. Talked a lot about gear. We also Mike and I ran a private class for John's group out at their private area. And what a great group of guys. Like John's got a great group of dudes that he has study groups with. And like, I enjoyed all of them. There was even a trooper in class and I liked him too. And, sometimes they're weird. He was a Florida trooper, and people from Florida are already weird, and troopers are weird, but he was all right. So then beat feet from there, went back up to Tennessee. Ran into Tim Morris. Actually, I stayed with Tim for a couple of nights, and I had all my shots, so that was all good. And then we went up and had like a 3-hour lunch with Marilyn, and it was so good to see Marilyn. I love that woman to bits, and caught up with how she's doing and how I got her up on how I was doing. And like she said, barring any issues, like if she has any medical setbacks or anything that, like that kind of stuff, barring any of that, she intends to be one of our guests of honor at next year's muster. So that'll be pretty awesome. Bulletin. Hello, sir. So after that, a great day hanging out with Tim and Marilyn, headed down to Enville, TFI Academy, Tyler Firearms Instruction, I think is the acronym. Keith Tyler's joint. Keith is a former cop and a USPSA Grand Poobah, and a pistol guy. What an awesome dude. And for being a USPSA guy, he's not like fuddy. So you guys know, probably Rob Pincus told you that I do some downrange drills, and Keith was totally cool with all those. And like, that's not typical of a USPSA guy to be cool with that. But we did a shooting and moving workshop on Saturday where some of the people in this chat were. Zach showed up, so I had another professional trainer in class. Tim came to class. Dave Biggers came to class, and Keith Tyler was in class. So I had 4 other instructors as students in that class, in addition to the 2 instructors I had in Florida. And I was like, wow, like half of the people I taught on this trip were other firearms instructors. And what great students, like across the board. Uh, you do something different. Like I'm gonna take notes on that. I want to hear about it. And it's always a joy. It's great. Zach, thank you, sir. Oh, sorry, Sonny. I knew I fucked it up. It's because I don't have a script. Tom Hollibit, hello, sir. So Tim says he's coming up for the muster next year too. So we'll see. So yeah, we did the shooting moving workshop, and then we did day 3 carbine, where most everyone had taken the 2-day version of dynamic carbine years ago, and finally caught up on the third one. So that was all great. And then came home. So I was gone for like 3 weeks and had a couple awesome trips in there. Was at 2 great classes, was at a great study group, taught 3 awesome single day classes and 1 great 2-day class. It was a very good time for travel. Admittedly, driving like 12 to 14-hour days by yourself in the truck, that part sucks. Mike flew down. I picked him up in Jacksonville, and then he left from Jacksonville. So Mike was there for a chunk of the trip in the middle, but we didn't get all the cool travel time. Yes, Adam, you can roll up here with Tim. So and Keith invited me to come back to Tennessee. I don't know when, because I know what Tennessee's weather's like year round, and he's about an hour south of Camden. So it would have to be like spring or fall, winter, later. So it'll probably be maybe later in the year. I can squeeze something in. I don't maybe. I got some shit planned in the fall for Texas, like a couple of trips in Texas. Something that's still kind of on the down low, under wraps. Maybe something collaborative with somebody in this chat, and then another Del Rio class as normal. Maybe, around the same time frame. Just saying. Interesting. It's like the weirdest piece of data, and because I don't play favorites with anything, at the shooting and moving workshop, we had 7 students, 4 ARs, 3 AKs. 2 guns had problems, and they were both AKs. And one of the ones that went down was not what you would consider a low-end AK. Still curious to hear what the scoop on that is. I know the person that owns that AK is in the chat. So when he finds out what's going on with it, I'd like to know what was going on with it. The other one was the one that Tim brought, and he had 2 built by a company off of kits that actually, like, I can't remember the name of the company that built them, but Brian at Occam Defense actually recommended this company to Tim, and one of the 2 AKs was running great, and the other one was not, and he wasn't sure. Tim brought that one to see if it was just like a teething issue when he got it from when he bought it, but it kept having more issues. So it's going back to the factory. So let's see what else happened in there. Oh, I know what happened in there. I got a couple new pistolas while I was away on my trip. Gifts, one could say. And there is a 1911 that you probably saw in the thumbnail for this video. It is an old beat up, I ain't that beat up, but a bargain level, I'm going to call it, Tysus, that was going to have a different set of like videos and reviews made of it. But now I'm going to do it's a project gun. So the gun functions fine. I don't say flawlessly because it's a 1911, so it functions like a 1911. And it has all the Tysus stuff on it. I am going to replace parts of the Tysus factory parts with upgraded aftermarket Ed Brown products. Since Dave works at Ed Brown, I wanted to see what all the parts were about. So we're going to do like little chunks at a time, see how the gun fares from being upgraded, and that'll be a fun little project. It's 45. That's the only downside to it. It's not 9 mil, and I would rather it be 9 mil because I didn't own any 45 ammo. Someone gave me a box of 50 so that I could at least load the gun but I got to actually buy some 45 ammo. Maybe Ammo Supply Warehouse could hook a brother up. TJ, hello, sir. Scott Wexler, hello, hello. And then the other gun that I picked up is a Smith & Wesson Model 686. It's a 357 Magnum revolver. It's the L frame, I believe. Yeah, I got like 5 random 357 Magnum rounds for it. None of them, no two were of the same manufacturer. And then I did pick up a box of 38 Special so I can go shoot the damn thing. That I don't intend to really do much to. I'm going to put big dots on it because XS makes big dots for it. But you guys got to drill a hole in like the rib on top of the barrel to hold this front sight in or something. I don't know. I'm going to XS not next week, but the following week. So I'm just going to take it with me and ask them what I need and how it needs to be done. I know they'll install sights, but not if it requires drilling or milling. So I just want them to like make sure I have the right part and what I need to tell my gunsmith when I come back here and get the guy to do it. Sonny, I completely agree. There's only like 3.5-ish companies that I recommend for AKs, and the one that Tim had wasn't on that list. But I mean, I figured if Brian recommended them, they must have been pretty okay. But oh, it's a 586. Sorry, Javier. I didn't even know where to find the fucking model number on it. You gotta like open the cylinder to see a little stamp, and it's like this fucking big, and I can't see it. All right, take it easy, Scott. Hey, Matt, good to see you. So I got those 2 project guns to fuck around with, and like they're old school. Don't expect to see them at a class or anything. Maybe when the 1911s, then I'll bring it out and let people shoot it at pistol classes or something. I don't know. Well, I'm not even running dynamic pistol at all in 2024. We are going to do some pistol workshops. We're going to do a shooting and moving pistol workshop like we did the shooting and moving carbine workshop. We're going to do the carbine workshop here as well. We're going to do a lot of smaller 1-day things than bigger 2 and 3-day things. But I'm not going to do a revolver class, although I'll take a revolver class for definitive revolver when Zach has it. Hopefully it isn't a huge round count because I'm going to have to ask Becker at Ammo Supply Warehouse to sponsor that class with ammo. I'll wear the shirt if he wants to put the ammo in the gun. What other gear things were? A couple of gear things actually. They're kind of neat. I saw a neuro device. Dustin Solomon, I think is his last name, from Building Shooters. He has this device, and it's like a laser shot timer. So it fits on a tripod, and it has like shot timer capabilities. But what's interesting about it is instead of having a beep, it has multicolored lasers that have different functions in the laser, like blinking and strobing and solids and different colors, so that you get shooting stimulus from a visual cue instead of an audible cue. So it helps build some different neural pathways as far as your reaction to stuff and reaction to what stimulus. And it was pretty neat. Keith had he does some work with those guys, and he had a set down there. And at the end of day 3 carbine, we got some rifles out and set some of those up and did did some interesting drills with it. So I'm interested to see more about it. That's Neuro, Neuro. If you go to Building Shooters website, you can see what it is, and I like cool gadgets and stuff. So it was something neat to look into and see how it worked. I also what else I got? I got a Russian. Actually, maybe it's not Russian. No, I think it might be a Circle 10 AK bayonet, like with the Bakelite handle and the Bakelite sheath. Uh, I got another Tomahawk, and this cool guy from Andrew at Combat Art Training. It is a battery book. I got to dig up some Velcro to put on some battery holders to smash those in there. But it zips up and holds a bunch of batteries. So taking it to the range, having double A's, triple A's, 123s, 2016s, 2032s, or whatever the hell the two different those size are. Maybe like the 1/3 N for aim points and Steiners and all that bullshit. 18.6 somethings. So it's a neat little Velcro organizer, and it came with a couple Velcro backed elastic loop things, and I intend to use it for 4 batteries since so much stuff is battery powered, and then I'll be able to just keep a stock book of spares. But everything that Andrew makes is pretty slick. I saw a couple different pieces of his gear down there at class that he brought with him, and I got some projects I want to discuss with him. A bag, like a big bag. You can't see my hands, but big, like a duffel bag, and maybe a sling and a placard for like a chest rig and stuff to chat with him about because he sews well and uh, he's humming along. So I thought, oh well, maybe we'll do something, make some stuff. And also, I heard that the prototype of the Tremes signature hand job is done. That's like a hand stop to what I wanted out of all the different hand stops. So the 3D printed prototype I hear is finished and possibly en route to me. I think it covers all the gear stuff. I think if I missed something out there and you're the guy that hooked me up with it on this trip, apologies. Oh, Adam, that sucks. I was hoping that the AK bayonet would be awesome. I mean, it's got a Bakelite sheath. That's pretty cool. I don't have anything to put it on because it's got a hole for like a muzzle device, but the muzzle device on my 74 is fucking huge. Like it's the big honking thing. I'll have to check. Turtle. So the sling that I was showing you was the GBRS sling. I call it Goobers, but it's an acronym. GBRS. And then I had John at UW Gear sew some customizations to it, but I have some of those that aren't customized by him. I have a couple that are, but that is my favorite sling so far. Well, Tim gave me this bayonet, which is currently down in my office. My AK is right over there in case the fucking Fed boys decide that my Liveshat would be a great time to come through the door. I'm done cutting them any slack. We'll talk about that too. Scroll through my notes here. Montana trip has been postponed. Supposed to leave Texas, go straight to Montana for dynamic carbine. It is now being moved to after the winter. For those of you, probably everyone who has been on my social media at all in the last 2 months has seen like a 6 to 7 week long fucking kidney stone chapter of my book that went from debilitating to ER trips to being admitted to 3 different surgical procedures. And literally, I got the stent removed from my kidney, and a half hour later was in the truck leaving for that CQB class. So my recovery from that obviously went smooth, thank God. And I have a appointment with a kidney specialist to maybe try and avoid getting kidney stones in the future. My choice was the day after that Montana trip or May. So I postponed the Montana trip so I could go get, head this kidney thing off at the pass and try and get to the bottom of why every 5 or 6 years I'm getting one. And they seem to be getting bigger each time, more painful and complex. So I put my kidney health above that class, but I'm going to Montana sometime when it gets warm again, and we will do all 3 days. We're going to do 2 days of dynamic carbine. We're going to run all 3 days when we go back. We'll do dynamic carbine and day 3. Adam, so as it turns out, of all the things that kidney stones can be made of, the caffeine, tea, energy drinks, the type of kidney stone that they make, what it's made out of, the material is not what mine are made out of. Mine are made out of calcium something or other, phosphorylate, and it's sodium, sodium intake. As it turns out, calcium can't enter the kidneys by itself. It can only enter your kidneys when it's attached to sodium. So the more sodium you consume, the more calcium is attached to it, and then the more deposits in your kidney. So I need to start paying attention to sodium intake. That seems to be the big thing. But I got to do like days of urine collection and blood work and ultrasounds and shit before I see this kidney specialist. So hopefully we get a little more in depth and don't eat salt, because I don't think I've added salt to food in 15 years. So, I mean, I know there's salt in a bunch of shit that I eat, but I'm not doing excessive sodium compared to some. But maybe I got to cut it out altogether. Who the fuck knows? So anyhow, Montana's being moved. What else we got going on? There is for this year, I got dynamic pistol. I have, I think, one slot, maybe 2 slots left open for Del Rio next week. And then going back to Texas in first week of December in Paducah. Going to have a fish class in their courthouse, like in the county courthouse. And I believe at this point I have the entire sheriff's department and the entire police department for the city enrolled in class, but there's still some slots. Dave, exactly. It ain't the fucking Red Bull. I don't know if I'd have been able to take it. So that's happening for the rest of this year. And then next year, SHOT Show, we're going to Florida in February. The master class is in May. And then Sunny and I have a collaborative force on force class here in right before the muster. So like the end of July, beginning of August. And that's all I got on the schedule so far. I'm still talking with places about what's going to happen, when and where. So within a few weeks, expect to see most of the spring, summer schedule released for what we're doing. I had 2 questions to answer. I guess we can get around to those. The first one we'll just fucking hit right off the bat because it's going through the training community like fucking X-Lax. What's going on with UTM? Adam, yes, I am going to SHOT. I go not all the time. Sometimes I go. This time I'm going. Max, hello, sir. Oh, I did mention you guys I'm going to see XS sites after Del Rio. And when I leave there, instead of coming back east, I think I'm headed north and maybe find one of my friends in Indianapolis to spend the night at. And then the following day, head to Wisconsin and we'll visit the folks at Midwest Industries to discuss stuff, cool things and whatnot. But anyhow, back to the question, what's going on with UTM? So apparently the ATF in their completely made up powers to regulate the import of munitions into our country has decided that non-lethal training ammunition can no longer be imported unless it is specifically designated for military or law enforcement use. So UTM put out a press release saying that they no longer are able to sell to civilian trainers like myself. I am a UTM certified professional training organization that now can no longer buy UTM ammo. And before you all say, well, I'm going to switch to Simunitions, also not made in the United States. Spear FOF, Federal FX, or maybe I got those backwards, also imported. So it's just the ATF putting the fucking screws to civilian trainers because they can. Probably because they're losing everything else. Simunition, that system that uses the Spear federal ammo, they really already have said we don't give a fuck about civilian trainers. And UTM is completely run by a bunch of retired feds who, according to folks who've been on the phone with them today, don't seem to care that they won't be able to sell to civilian trainers anymore. I mean, their people are still taken care of, so that's all that matters. And that's it. That's just, they're done. So that's going to put a kink in force on force classes. I have some UTM ammo here. I'm going to try to get creative with maybe some people helping me get it through other channels. Like I can't promise what that after December's fish that the fish classes will look identical to how they did before, because we may be relying less on, because we used to have a UTM evolution at the end of each day, and that may peter out. So we'll see. Colt, that's awesome that you're bringing some folks to fish. You guys get to shoot some police in the courthouse. You don't get to do that every day. So yeah, UTM. I mean, I guess they don't have any grounds to like fight it, but they could do. They could, try to pressure Congress to get it nixed. But again, like their bread and butter is the big military contract that they have. Like even if they lost all their law enforcement, it wouldn't matter. Like their business is just booked solid. It'd be great if they would license an ammo manufacturer to make UTM ammo here in the US, because the ATF can't stop them from selling it and they can't stop me from buying it. They can just stop it being imported for me. They basically waived the importation restriction for government use. They do that with real ammo too. So, like, oh, you can't import this, whatever ammo. And then they go ahead and import it anyway, as long as it's for the feds. So, oh, look, I still got Zach's thing popping up from last time. That's good. So a bunch of folks in the industry have like they're feeling a crunch, and like the best mechanical working option is the Unit 4 solutions. The problem is you don't get to use your gun, so I'd have to buy like $10,000 guns to outfit a class, and then buy 10 weapon lights for them and 10 optics for them. Basically, it'd be like a $20,000 investment, not including consumables, because there's a non-firearm that shoots tiny little paintballs, and I said they sent me a sample for review, and it worked well. It does have some cold weather issues, like really cold weather. It doesn't work awesome in, so it might limit like January, February classes to not happening outdoors. But it's just a big investment, especially when I have thousands of dollars of UTM stuff already in my inventory. So that's Adam. I don't know. I mean, 7N6 should be covered under the 2A, but it just falls into that stupid import rule. Like how they somehow have this, like at the border, they have this ability to restrict whatever they want from coming in. So, I mean, I guess the non-lethal training ammo falls under the same authority, I guess. However, I just decided today that if the feds want to interfere with my ability to train, I have rescinded all training waivers for folks in the Department of Justice, Department of Homeland Security, Department of State. So like normally I don't train those people, but I let certain groups like the Del Rio station of the Border Patrol had a waiver up until today that they could come take classes with me, and they no longer can. Just like everybody else that's a federal employee. Basically, if you're not covered by the UCMJ, you are forbidden from training with me. If you buy training with me, I will donate the money, your tuition, to the Firearms Policy Coalition, and bar you from the range. So uh, I had done waivers for certain people and for certain small groups within those the executive branch of the federal government. I just took all those away and fuck them. Like they can't have training from me. Uh, yeah, Adam, I think that you're right. I think it's a two-way thing, and if people here make it, there's nothing they can do to sell it. But um, some, anything being imported falls under like, and they can ban books if they're imported because they're import rules that they say supersede everything else. So yeah, you guys may have seen a press release that we at Tremis Dynamics just put out about an hour ago, saying that beds can get fucked. It's pretty much my feeling on it. I will do nothing to help them. I would love to be on a jury where somebody harmed a federal agent a federal employee of some time. I don't care what happened, not guilty. Like nobody that works for the federal government can be a victim. Um, Fuck them. I am the extremist. I like it. So that's the skinny on UTM. I did say that I'm trying to get creative with some other avenues of procuring it. And to those motherfuckers who have stepped up and said, "Hey, I might be able to get you covered on this." You guys are awesome. I won't say your names because I know what you're doing would be not cool with UTM, but you're still awesome. And then the last question that I had that I will go ahead and answer: lights on a pistol. Ethan Green, hello, sir. I did not see you. I was in Tennessee and you weren't. Oh, Sonny, that's a great idea for a t-shirt. Mike Fiore, are you still here? Put your art hat on and help me think of a t-shirt. So light on a pistol. I had a fella over on the bulletin group on Facebook today say that talking about guns just in general, and like just an aside comment said, for everyday carry, I think a light on a pistol is a must. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting perspective. And this fella has taken classes from me and from at least one of my former employers. And I was like, wow, he didn't get any of that from us. So I didn't ask him why. I just thought it was a great topic for discussion for me to talk about. And so, you put like a TLR1 or an X300 or something on a pistol. Those are things, by the way, are fucking huge. I know, like, Mod Light makes a weapon mounted light, and it's garbage, like their pistol light. And Streamlight makes some smaller ones for smaller guns, like the TLR7 or something, or the 8, or fuck, I don't even know. And I don't know much about them, so I can't comment on those. But at least they're not fucking gargantuan. And so here's my thought on a running a pistol. It is a handgun. It is not a hands gun. So it is a one-hand tool. I keep doing that, and there's like a big shadow on my face. Maybe I should do this hand. Aha. So it's a one-handed tool. And as such, all of the things you do with it need to be able to be used one-handed. So your weapon light that usually has the two little paddles up in front of the trigger guard, they need to be able to be activated independently of the trigger, sometimes at the same time, sometimes not at the same time. So that means you can't use your trigger finger for it. You got to use one of the other digits. None of mine, nor anybody I've met, reaches those paddles. So then you have to put a tape switch on it if you want to use it one-handed, like the DevGru switch from Stream or Surefire. I think Streamlight's got one of those as well. Runs like under the trigger guard. The downside with that is now when you grip the gun, This finger needs to not grip the gun because otherwise you'll be turning the light on every time you grip it. So that makes it not the ideal solution for one-handed operation. And if you can't run the thing on it one-handed, I don't want it on it. It's that simple. You still can't search with it. You still need to search with a handheld, which would be in the other hand. Hence the reason that we want to be able to use this thing one-handed. So it's like carrying a second gun without bullets because it's as big and chunky as like my deep concealment pistol. So I'm not putting it on a gun. I'm just not going to happen. Maybe if one was so small, if it were like the guide rod was, it'd have to be magic as well for to have like a lot of light coming out of an area that big. I'm not adding a bunch of extra shit to my gun. I want my pistol to be less gun, not more gun. And yeah, obviously you need a handheld light anyway. Why put a second one that you can't run one-handed on the pistol? That's my take on it. So Sonny says, bedside pistol, yes. Carry pistol, no. I agree with that. My bedside pistol has a 10.5-inch barrel on it and a Surefire Scout light. It's also got like a Gemtech can and a 30 round magazine and a Trijicon MRO on top. And I'm not saying that people don't have, they shouldn't carry a weapon light. I'm just saying I'm trying to cut shit off of that thing, not add to it. Mike, is that all I am to you, an artistic secretary? No, you're an understudy or a sidekick. I can't remember how you were referred to on the internet. So I certainly feel that if I am Batman and you are Robin, then it would certainly be Robin's duty to make a t-shirt. It seems like that would be Robin's duty. Jonathan says he knows a guy does a great low light class. It's the definitive course on low light. I like what you did there. I have a low light primer that we do all dry blue guns and that kind of thing seminar that has been well received, and a low light workshop that we are running a carbine and a pistol version of it in Del Rio in the weekend out, not this coming weekend, but the following weekend. We're going to do it doing 2 days of pistol on Saturday, Sunday for dynamic pistol. But Saturday night we're coming back to the range and doing a low light pistol thing. Then Sunday after day 2, we're going to go to the range and do a carbine low light thing. And then on Monday we're doing day 3 pistol. So there's a lot of cool shit happening in Del Rio. An LEP guide rod. Now we're talking. There we go. Javier called you an understudy, and you're the Robin to the Batman. So t-shirts away. The good news is, Mike, you design the t-shirt, I'll buy you one. If Sig made a weapon mounted light, I bet you'd carry one. Don't they? Aren't they making some lights now? Some pistol lights? I don't know. And not going to carry one. TJ, I would love to get Zach out here to do definitive low light. And now that we have found a range in Pennsylvania that we can shoot in the dark, we could. It's the most expensive range I've ever heard of, ever. Live fire shoot houses cost less than the range that we're going to shoot the master class on. So Zach's class would have to jump up in price quite a bit. So I don't know if he'd be interested because I don't know how that turns out as far as attendance goes when you got to jack up the price. But I mean, we can get some low light shooting at the master class. And man, is there some cool shit in there that I bet you don't get at any other low light class offered anywhere. Just a hunch. Just a hunch. So there's my 2 questions, or both the questions are answered. We still got 10 minutes till the hour is up, or 5 minutes until it's 9 o'clock. So now is a good time to ask stuff. I'm going to go make sure I didn't miss any comments. All right. TJ, yes. When we do the master class on May 4th, if you come to me, you can ride with me the rest of the way. Oh, Tom likes the pressure switch for the 300. I had one, and my holster broke it because it rubbed on the holster, because the holster wasn't made to have that tape switch running under the trigger guard. I think that was an X200 because it was a while ago. Sherry Garrity, and I saw Larry had popped in a amendment earlier as well. Bug out schedule. We are doing a bug out sometime in the spring, and then one more invite only one, and then we are done with the Bug the Fuck Out series. There'll be 20 of them. There's a great question from Aiden Donovan. What's your favorite way to get better with your weak hand? That's with pistols. Well, the free practice is do everything left-handed. And I mention this all the time. I tell folks, start with brushing your teeth left-handed, because it's a fine motor skill and a gross motor skill. Technically, it's probably not either one, but it's maybe just a medium, when you're brushing your teeth, because your hands doing fine little motor skills, but your elbow tends to move around a bunch too when you're like, jawing at the ones in the back. If you do it with your left hand and you don't do it well, you jam your fucking gums with your toothbrush and it hurts. So it forces you to pay attention to making small little circles and, doing whatever type of shapes you like. And then dry practice left-handed. So what most people struggle with is not so much with pistol, I don't think, getting a sight picture, because oftentimes they'll end up running the gun in front of the eye they always aim with and not the eye that's on the left. If they always aim with the left, then it's no different. So it's not so much about lining the sights up, because the eye is the same. That tends to take on a different aspect when you're running a rifle, because I use a different eye. But the problem I find most folks have is, so of the two fundamentals, it isn't putting the sights where you want the bullet to go, it's keeping them there while you shoot the gun. So dry practice with the left hand. I like using the SIRT pistol because it makes training fun. And like a lot of things, the more enjoyable it is, the more likely you are to do it. So you can dry practice normal left-handed and just get proper trigger presses with a good sight picture, keep it, in a rack, and do that shit again. But I think with a SIRT pistol, the trigger resets, so you don't have to stop and rack it. But because you're like getting little laser shots off on your tiny little target somewhere, it's more enjoyable because your brain's getting that instant feedback of, hey, I'm doing well or I'm not doing well, whatever. And then you want to do it more often. So for a couple $100 for getting a SIRT pistol, I think it's a valuable investment, because if it makes your dry practice fun, you're more likely to do it. Gary's drill on day 2 pistol. I mean, we do some left-handed stuff. So now Reed Lindauer, who pops in, like the sniper shot from fucking Virginia, a TLR7. Okay, that's the skinny one. I'm reading this, so you're gonna have to wait for a second. So there we go. Reed's been running the shit out of a TLR7 and doesn't have negative feedback. I like that. Reed is a serious student of the gun. He also works in an armed capacity, so he gets a lot more time with that gun on him for being used that a lot of people don't always get. Uh, so yeah, TLR 7 he has had good luck with. Javier says his RMSC crapped out after 140 rounds at the range. Well, the good news is they do have a warranty and might get it fixed for you. And if they do, like if they swap it out and send you a new one, you RMA it while it's still new in the box, you could sell it and get a 507K from Holosun. I think that's the best red dot in the RMS footprint. It's pretty good and pretty reliable. I think the E-Flex is my favorite red dot, but I don't know how it is on reliability. Um, I don't have as much. I haven't seen as many of them because they're a delta point footprint, so it only works on like guns that use plates. And at this point, most everyone I know is switching to guns without plates. So, aka everyone's running 365s at this point. All right, we hit 9 o'clock. I think we got some questions answered. I turned the air conditioner off a little over an hour ago, and now it's getting warm in here. So I'd like to thank Iron Pig Armament for sponsoring tonight's live chat. And like I said, we're not going to have one for the next 2 weeks because I'm going to be traveling. So if you want to keep up with what's going on, it won't be here on the live chats, whether you are watching them on Twitter, YouTube, or Facebook. But you'll just have to follow the regular social medias and see what we're up to. And with all that, you all take it easy out there. And I will see you in a couple of weeks. And throughout the winter months, it looks like we'll be doing regular live chats. So we should be able to have these a little more regularly after this last little bit of traveling is over with. Maybe if I go Tuesday to XS and then that Wednesday to Midwest, hey, maybe we'll do like a live midday Wednesday live chat from Midwest Industries. You never know. Probably can make that happen. All right, you guys take it easy, and I am going to pop smoke and get out of here. See you in a few weeks.